I'm getting ready to put back together this lathe. You might have seen it before in the video called Mystery Machine. Since then I have found out that it is either a Auerbach or a Karger lathe. Both of them are German brands. I did some de-rusting, painting, and had some parts galvanized. I've cleaned up the ways, used a razor blade to scrape off the rust, and used some Scotch-Brite, and they turned out pretty good. Well, let's start by putting back together the tailstock. I did some digging around in my box full of parts, and I believe that I got all of them that belong to the tailstock. Only these three have been galvanized. I didn't, well, I wasn't brave enough to galvanize the quill, and I didn't see the need to galvanize those small screw. The chance of them getting lost was just too great. Here's a look inside the quill, and you can clearly see a ridge where the taper ends. So apparently it's not 100% concentric. It probably got bored and reamed using the headstock, so if the casting would be out of line, you would get this as a result. There's no way to tweak or adjust the tailstock. Hopefully it will work out fine. Let's start from the back. A bit of oil. I should have run a stone over the face of this part. Guess I'm gonna do that now. Well, it took a while, but I got this part mounted. The problem is that those screws, they screw halfway into the casting of the tailstock and halfway into the part, so you need to line it up exactly, otherwise the screws won't go in. But once you hammer down the part into the barrel, you can't turn it anymore, so it's a bit fiddly to get it back together. Alright, here's the next part. Before I can insert the quill, I gotta make sure that this small part sits in the right location underneath the locking screw. It pushes down on the quill to lock it. Damn it. Alright, we'll use this small magnet and this glue clamp to hold it in place. Put some oil on the quill and slide it in. Come on. It's threaded in, but it's too tight to turn. Okie dokie. I thought it would screw down further. And last. Come on. Try to line it up as best I can, and hopefully I'll get lucky. Not even close. Well, I finally managed to get the tailstock back together. This last part has been fighting me for a while. I was stupid when I hammered this back on there. It just was too tight and I wasn't able to align the holes for the pin. So I needed to use some brute force to get this thing back off again, and then I spent some time polishing the shaft and the inside bore, and I finally got it back together again. I really don't like this, well, I would have preferred a wheel or a ball handle, but not this stupid thing. So I might modify that in the future, if the lathe is any good. There's a small loophole on top, and the thrust forces are, well, the friction is, this is a steel part, this is a cast iron part, so you can, well, it's regrinding itself, so I guess I need to clean this out again, or maybe flush it with some diesel or something like that. I think it looks pretty good. Works fine, no noticeable play. It does eject a bit early, so I might make an arbor that's a bit shorter, so I can maximize the quill travel. I got the lathe mounted on these steel box section cutoffs, but they're not high enough, because when I move the tailstock back, it's hitting the workbench over here. I didn't want to make those legs any higher, because the lathe is already too high as it is. An option would be to grab the tailstock mounting locking place underneath the waist instead of the bed, but underneath here is not it's not machined flat, so I don't know if that's a good idea. For now I will probably replace this thing with a regular nut and use a spanner. These things are a bit awkward to operate. I don't like them. In the future I could modify the tailstock to make a cam lock system with a lever on the back of the lathe. That way I can more easily move around the tailstock, and it will save quite a bit of time. I've decided to make this a 3-part series, this being the first. The second will be about reassembling the cross slide and the top slide, and the last will be about reassembling the headstock. Well, I'm doing this mainly because of the lousy internet bandwidth we got here. A 20-minute video upload takes almost a complete night. It will also shorten the amount of time I need to sit behind the computer to edit all this stuff. Well, it won't shorten it, but it cuts it into doable pieces. Hopefully I will upload the second part in this series very soon.